Yeah, thank you so much, sir. I mean, no need to apologize as we all are so accustomed with these digital limitations. I mean, this often happens. We are accustomed to this. So with this, we shall be moving ahead towards our last speaker of today, which is Mr. Sarker Tanvir Ahmad from Bangladesh. And Mr. Tanvir is the president of Youth Parliament Bangladesh and a young leader at British Council. So he'll be speaking about SDG number 12, which is responsible consumption and production. Over to you, Mr. Tanvir. Please go ahead.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much for giving me the chance, at least. And I will obviously conclude my thoughts on SDG 12 within 10 minutes, if I am not wrong. And every time I feel so much proud to joining any kind of webinar by Pakistani youth like Musawar Bhai and also you, because my grandfather was the former officer of Pakistan Export-Import Corporation. And after the liberation war, we came back to Bangladesh. So that's why we have it's my feeling to you guys to attending your this kinds of seminar actually proudly. So as the days go by, the pressure of population on the limited resources of the world is increasing. By 2050, the world's total population is expected to reach 9.6 billion. So the amount of natural resources needed to sustain the current standard of living in line with the needs of the huge population requires at least 3 more planets like the Earth. This is expected. This is not my actually the quote. Even so, 1/3 of the world's food production is wasted due to insufficient production, lack of the land, and also the method, transportation, management, etc. But the amount is about 1.3 billion tons is like that. So in order to deal with the material prices, it is necessary to change the current consumption pattern of people and the production system of goods to serve on an urgent basis to all. So yesterday I was watching a wonderful video of extinction of extinct dinosaur giving speeches in the United Nations Assembly room and telling us the story of their extinction. So the time for development is now to us. But in the face of extinction, we need to practice the sustainable human ideal of a sustainable society. And speaking of Bangladesh, if I set an example that we can say that despite of the increase in population, though it is a problem of Bangladesh, but we are now as food self-sufficient countries, and our food index is higher than all South Asian countries actually. So however, the lack of the resources in developing countries is a matter of concern. But on the other hand, the population is increasing, and on the other hand, also the cultivable land is decreasing. The objective of the Sustainable Development Goal 12 is to make the best use of less resources and to produce more actually. So through ensuring insufficient use of resources, it is possible to achieve minimum welfare and improve the standard of living through economic activities by preventing damage and pollution. So why it is to us? Because our first speaker of, in this event already mentioned that we are the stakeholders, youths, and also the 11 classes of the people of a society. They are the stakeholders, the partners of the Sustainable Development Goal, because we are the owners. The United Nations feel us that we are the owners. So we have the responsibility to promote and also contribute to the goal. So since the United Nations Conference on Environment and Development in 1992, the sustainable production and moderate consumption have been considered an important part of global development. So it was also defined in the 1994 Oslo Symposium with special things and special emphasis. So efficient management of our natural resources and the way we dispose of toxic wastes and also the critical to achieving the goal. So it is important to encourage factories, businesses, industries, customers also to recycle the reduced waste generated. And by 2030, the developing countries need to move towards more sustainable patterns of consumption. But in 2017, at least 10% of the total production was damaged due to the various cultivation outbreaks. So on the other hand, people are suffering from food crisis. Also, it is important to prevent actually waste in order to overcome the food crisis. Similarly, to ensure efficient waste management for dealing with the urgent environmental diseases and threats, and to achieve economic growth along with the sustainable development, we need to change the way we produce and consume products and resources. The forest sector accounts for more than 22% of the total greenhouse gas and emissions. So starting from the conversion of the agricultural and fruit production land. So for the large use of the water in agriculture and for irrigation in the world, about 60% of allocated fresh water is required if we ensure the food actually quality to reach out the total target to the consumers actually. So we regulated measures are needed to meet future food pressure and per capita food and nutrition deficiencies, because 1.3 billion tons of food is wasted every year, and per day the total food waste of the global GDP globally actually is around the total GDP of Sweden actually. So while about the 2 billion people suffering from hungers other side, and 3% of the world's water fresh, that means drinkable water, and also the people are using it faster than the replenishing natural water. So worldwide 2 billion people are overweight or obese. So this is all about the things of the during the SDG 12, because we are self-centered. Some of us around the countries, around the society, we don't want to take the more food, but we actually every day continuously one side of one, please mute. Yes, one sector of the society, they eat so much food, and on an other side some peoples are not available to eat or pursue the food, consume the food. So this is why that SDG is more concerned to us, and we are the awareness, we are the civic citizens of our own country. And I think reducing the global food waste and the per capita at the per capita and consumer level is also important for creating more efficient production and supply chains. So it can help protect the food and also the food supply chain, and move us into a more efficient and dynamic economy towards the sustainable development goal. So this is all about for me. This is my small sharing of related to the SDG 12. Because I'm an economics student, so that's why by the perspectives of that I'm sharing just like that. So thank you very much. Maybe I'm completing my speech on 7:50 seconds. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Tanvir. It was so good to hear about you, and specifically the background you have just told about your family. So that was nice knowing. So thank you so much once again. Now I would like to request Ms. Rania to summarize and have her say, as she is a perfect depiction of SDG expert. So we'd like to hear you, Miss, your take on this initiative by Youth Diplomacy Forum, and we'd love to hear your comments about this whole conference. Please proceed, Ms. Rania.
Well, greetings from Greece. I would like to thank all participants and speakers from all around the world who honored us today with their valuable time and words of wisdom during this today conference. And I believe this was a very fruitful and resourceful conference approaching almost all goals and many aspects of sustainable development goals and sustainability. I want to say my experience. I am the founder of many humanitarian STEM international projects all around the world. I started without any financial aid at all. That when I launched my first program only on social media, over 2,000 teachers were registered and over 200,000 students were registered without any sponsorship at all. And after this first program, after this success, I started writing humanitarian programs for students in Africa and Asia and Malawi. Talking about students who don't have any school supplies. I had to design activities for students who didn't have any chalk, any paper, any school bag, anything at all. But we managed to do amazing things. Students performed water experiments. They did amazing mind maps using branches of trees. And they learned how to filter their water. We're talking about students who didn't have clean water to drink. And they had to walk about 90 minutes to find clean water. So thanks to this program and the collaboration of teachers in Malawi, in Kenya, in India also, one of my programs was about food nutrition awareness. And the concept was to teach the student how to make healthy combinations, food combinations, in case of food shortage. So there, this program inspired Indian teachers who visited slums there and educated their families. They donated them money. They learned them about the nutrition pyramid. They learned them how to get healthy nutrition even if there is a shortage. Also, thanks to these programs, the clean water program and food program, we managed to get from USA filtering sanitation equipment for students in Malawi, and also 6 wells were drilled in areas of Malawi where students didn't have clean water to drink. My also recent programs concern COVID also, which were implemented there in India in slums and poor countries. And my most recent one, it was a great success. It's called Gender-Based Violence, Why Peace is a Much Better Option. It's inspired by high rates of gender-based violence in Nigeria. It's inspired by all the situation there. And the final outcome of this project is to actually the idea of peace among students who experience gender and conflict-related situations. So I want to say that we are responsible for transformation of the world. Each one of individual of us is responsible. Of course, governments are the first one who write all this, who promote all this agenda and all these goals. But I think the responsibility is upon us, and especially educators have this responsibility to educate and to promote quality education and equal education, education inclusive and free for all. It's our responsibility. Through this program, as I said before, I didn't have any aid at all, only through the power of social media. Networking is very, very important. Through networking, we can form groups, we grow stronger, we become stronger, and we can do amazing things, we can do miracles. So thank you once again all very much for your valuable presence and your precious time you spared with us. And I hope that in the future we collaborate and we can do amazing things in order to promote this agenda. Thank you very much.
Yeah, wow, that is always so nice to hear from you, Ms. Rani, and your social media profile is a very well depiction of your efforts. So thank you so much once again. With this, we may proceed towards Mr. Musawwir Sunoli, President YDF, to conclude the conference. Over to you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Ehsan Khan, especially for moderating today's session. And it was a wonderful activity. So the purpose was just to give an idea and insight a little bit about sustainable development goals to our participants, those who are joining from across the world, especially from Pakistan. And we have invited different speakers, and Ms. Rania helped in this regard. So thank you very much, Ms. Rania, for managing and talking to all these speakers from around the world, and they joined us. So it is good for us because our main purpose is to reach foreigners, reach foreign youth, to interact with them, to know and to learn from their experience. So it was a great event. So the main idea was not just to get expertise in sustainable development goals, but just to get an idea of the basic things about the 17 SDGs. And the professors and lecturers who gave us lectures, some award-winning entrepreneurs, some journalists, they joined us during this 2-day conference. So we have learned a lot from them, and hope so that we will continue our cooperation and collaboration with youth organizations from Greece, from Indonesia, from Philippines, from Bangladesh. So we will cooperate with them in future as well, and we will conduct our joint activities in near future. So again, lastly, I would like to thank all speakers who joined us in this 2-day conference, and thank you very much. Have a nice day, or maybe night. Thank you.
Thank you for organizing this event. Wonderful.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Stay. Thank you.
And we take a photo together. Can we open the cameras and take a photo?
Yes, you can. You may proceed.